Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Dave here. I've been working on some new music, and I was fortunate enough to get my hands on the Howard Benson plugin by JST. It's been absolutely amazing, and I can't believe what it does. So let me show you what I've been working on. I have my first verse line here pulled up. I will let you take a listen to it. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Awesome. As you can tell, sits in there pretty nicely. I didn't do it in the full context of the mix yet, which I will show you soon. But yeah, it sounds great. Let me walk you through a little bit what I kind of did here. So I have everything engaged on the plugin except for the multiplier. This line is actually layered already, and I felt like that was a little overkill, so I shut it off for this one. But on the compression, I actually turned up the input level to 65, so it's quite a bit, but I didn't compress it all the way. The compression's sitting at 66.5, and I just turned on the auto makeup gain, which you can have control over if that's not selected. But I have that selected, so it's really cool. And this grit, I kept it all the way down. It adds a little bit of like analog distortion, I believe, and it sounds pretty cool. It's just not for this part, I don't think. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Yeah, I think that's great if you want like an aggressive analog. It almost sounds like an analog type clip. Really cool. Some of the bluesy stuff I record, that comes really in handy. So onto the EQ. Oh, I forgot. They also have a tube warmth switch here. I'll let you hear what that sounds like. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. I actually like the tube warmth on right now. That may change, but from what I just heard there, I really like it, so I'm going to keep that on. So for the EQ now, I've got a boost of 3.5 at around 2500 hertz. The bell is not selected. In my mid frequencies, I've got a 2.8 boost around 4400 hertz. So that's just adding a little bit more to that that upper mid range. So the low frequencies, this is set at 206. Some of my P sounds in some of the words that I had were a little too much, so I pulled them back about 2 decibels, excuse me, and I noticed it kind of helped it out. There's probably some more I can do later to fix that, but this definitely made a difference. So I have my high pass on, which is great. This feature for the lo-fi is actually a really cool thing. If you're familiar with gain reduction, they have it in gain reduction as well, and this does something very similar. So let me show you what that sounds like. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Yeah, really cool. I actually used that effect in the very first line of the song, and it's pretty unbelievable how good it sounds just by one little click. So another cool feature with the EQ, though, is you can have it before your compressor, which I did. I kind of liked the way it sounded to have it EQ'd before it hit my compressor. A lot of times I actually don't have that on, but in this case, it sounded good. So skipping the multiplier for now, I will show you what that does here in just a minute. The width. So the width obviously makes it wider. And this is one of my favorite features in this entire thing. It's something I struggled with a lot using other plugins, and I could never really achieve what it's helped me accomplish, and I absolutely love this part. So let me show you kind of what it does when I play it back. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Yeah, so it's pretty extreme when you take it all the way up. I keep my range usually around 12 o'clock. I feel like that's just a good spot for it. And I don't push it too hard, especially with the range at 12 o'clock. But it just gives it that nice depth that everyone's looking for that, radio-ready vocal. And I love it. And it helps it cut through the mix so much, especially when you just have a line by itself. You push that width up, get it to a sweet spot, and it makes it sound dramatically better. So love that. Now onto the echo. Right now I have it set at 9.2, and I have it in stereo. Sometimes I switch it to mono, but I'm actually really digging the way the stereo sounds. And that's my time it's set on. You can adjust your times. Pretty straightforward. And then it also has a lo-fi feature for the delay tail. And I love that because I hate when I'm sending my delays to a bus and I'm having to add this extra stuff to give it this lo-fi effect. And this simplifies all of that for me. It's great. So let me show you what this sounds like with turning this delay up. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. So beautiful delay. I mean, I'm not sure what they use to get this, but it's absolutely incredible. I love the sound of it. It can get a little dramatic pretty quickly. It starts bouncing all over the place. So I would recommend being subtle with it. I keep mine around 18, probably between 18 and really no higher than 20, depending on the part. But yeah, that's kind of a sweet spot. Sometimes I'll go way lower too, but like I said, it just depends on the song. So last thing is, I'm sorry, not last thing, we have two left. The reverb, beautiful reverb. And I love the simplicity of it. I love the fact that it's two knobs. Previously, I would get really overwhelmed with reverbs and have no idea what a lot of the settings did until you go through the learning curve of whatever plugin you're using. But love the simplicity of this reverb here. So I'll show you what it does. You thought your mind was made, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Cool. So when you hear it all the way up, it's quite a bit. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend going too far past around 50, 60 for the size, just because it can get a little washy and probably start to muddy up your mix. So I would keep that pretty subtle. But for things like throws, it's really useful. It's cool to at least have that option of going all the way there. And my amount, I always keep it just like the delay, pretty subtle. I think an over reverbed voice. I don't really know how to put that. Just doesn't sound quite as professional. So got to be careful there. Now we have your gain knob. I would only usually use it to trim it if I ever need to. If what I'm sending into it is really loud, or if what the chain is creating is really loud, then you can pull it back. But a cool feature is that you can do it before all of the effects, and it's a really handy tool just in case you need to pull it back a little bit or boost it before it goes through all of these. So in this case, I actually have it before. You have a limiter just to tame some spikes that might be in there. And my favorite part about this gain knob is that it has a sweet spot labeled there for you, so you don't have to worry about trying to guess. So let me show you what that kind of does. You thought your mind was made up, but your heart was looking for something you couldn't get enough of. Yep. So I just kind of keep that set right around 50, and it tends to work out. It's very rare that I'm ever having to use this. If you record your vocals well, you shouldn't have to do that too much. But that's cool for that part. So now let's go a little bit further down. Same settings. This is all in the same track, but I want to show you a part with a little bit more dynamic to it. So let's go into the bridge section here. And if you see the audio here, it's a lot quieter in the beginning, and then it gets a lot bigger as the line gets closer to the next part. So I will show you what it sounds like now.
You tell me that you love me and you beg me to stay. You scream until you hate me, then you push me away. Am I not enough? Just admit your love, you're fucking driving me crazy.
Yeah, so if you see how well it controls dynamics, it's pretty unbelievable. I'm going to bypass the whole plugin, and play that for you one more time.
You tell me that you love me and you beg me to stay. You scream until you hate me, then you push me away. Am I not enough? Just admit your love, you're fucking driving me crazy.
Yeah, so the dynamics are all over the place. I used a really good mic to record that, and it helped kind of maintain clarity throughout the whole line, but it was definitely missing a lot of control over those dynamics. So re-engaging the plugin, you're going to hear what it does now.
You tell me that you love me and you beg me to stay. You scream until you hate me, then you push me away. Am I not enough? Just admit your love, you're fucking driving me crazy.
Awesome. So one thing that my microphone also tends to do is it starts to saturate a little bit. I get some distortion if I'm singing really, really loud lines into it. And a lot of times I do whatever I can to prevent that, but sometimes it's not the case. And this plugin actually handles that little bit of distortion really, really well. I feel like it kind of opens it up, especially with the width knob. It's really nice to kind of be able to tame that in some way without having to get really creative with other plugins. So I love that. Now let me show you a part that's a little more dense in the mix that I use, the plugin. And it's got little added layers, but everything is running through that plugin. So here we go.
We got so stuck in our ways, but we're finally ready for change. 'Cause my heart is starting to beat to the rhythm that you play. So baby, tell me what you want, 'cause I'm not falling for the lies that'll push me away. Hey, hey. It's all so hard enough, I swear I've done it all. I hate that you feel this way. It's in the DNA.
Well, there you have it. This song isn't completely mixed yet, but this Howard Benson plugin is really, really helping me get there and making things a lot easier for me. So be sure you pick it up. JST will never let you down. Everything they put out is an extremely good quality product, especially for the price. Yeah, but that's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoy. And yeah, go pick the plugin up. Thanks, guys.